So today I want to talk to you about how you can keep your acceptance rating higher as a multi-apper. We know when it comes to doing food delivery that the higher your acceptance rating, the more likely you are to receive better orders. So in today's video, I'm going to break down for you as a multi-apper how you can keep your acceptance rating higher. My name is John McFall, and I want to welcome you to the McFallRI channel, where I teach you how to make $25 to $30 an hour doing food delivery. In today's video, I want to break down for you what I do to keep my acceptance rate as high as possible, because on these apps, the better that you are at accepting offers from these platforms, the better likelihood that you are to receive better offers from these platforms. So today I want to break it down for you. Before I get into the video, I would like to ask you, if you receive value out of this video, I would like to ask you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel so that you can get the great content that I throw out here. The first thing I want to talk to you about when it comes to your acceptance rating is it does not matter. In other words, what you accept and what you decline isn't going to penalize you on any of these apps. You can decline as many orders as you want, and there is nothing that these apps can do about it. You are not required to accept any of the orders that they send you because you are a contract employee. You're a 1099, not an actual W-2 employee on these apps. So you don't have to accept any specific order that they send you, and you have the right to give up the order request when they send it to you if it doesn't meet your criterion, if it doesn't meet your standards for what you accept when you accept orders. On the other hand, though, it's been proven many times by a lot of gig tubers out here that if you have a higher acceptance rating, you're likely to receive better orders. This is kind of just a myth. It's not been proven that you know, somebody talked to DoorDash or Uber Eats or GrubHub and they said, yes, you do get better orders if you have a higher acceptance rating. But there's a lot of people that have challenged the acceptance rating and taken it on and accepted more orders, and they have found that they get better orders when they have a higher acceptance ratings. More Finance, he's a perfect example of this. He is constantly doing this on DoorDash, and he has proven that if you get higher acceptance ratings on DoorDash, that you get better orders sent to you. So as a multi-apper, it's kind of hard to do this because we're declining a lot of orders because we're waiting for that good one to come through on whatever app it might be so that we can get the best order for us. So what is it that I do when I'm out here doing food delivery to help me keep my acceptance rating higher? The solution is actually quite simple. When you're out here working multiple apps, the easiest and best way that you can keep your acceptance rating higher is this. When I started doing multi-apping, I always kept all the apps on at all times, and I would just hit decline and decline and decline and decline if I could not take an order, because let's say I had an order on DoorDash and I was picking that order up and delivering it. I didn't have time to grab another order, so I would just decline orders from GrubHub and Uber Eats when I had a DoorDash order, and the same thing applied when I had an order on Uber Eats or GrubHub. I would just decline on the other two apps until I was able to actually accept an order. So what I started doing was this, is I actually started shutting off the other apps when I had an order and I knew I couldn't accept an order. So if I was on an active delivery with one of the platforms, I'd take the other two platforms and I would shut them off. With DoorDash, you pause the orders so that they're not sending you any requests. On GrubHub, you go to unavailable, and that keeps them from sending you requests. And on Uber Eats, you go offline. It's really simple. Uber Eats is the easiest because you just go on and off whenever you are available or not available. So you can just simply take yourself offline and they won't send you any requests. GrubHub is similar. You just go from available to unavailable and it will not send you any requests. DoorDash, on the other hand, you can't go on and off whenever you want. You actually have to pause the orders, and because of this, you actually have to watch the timer on DoorDash so you don't lose your dash. If you go more than 35 minutes paused, DoorDash will take you off your dash. So when you're out there doing food delivery and you have an order on one app and you're wanting to not get orders on the other ones, either you go offline or you pause your order so they're not sending you any. And because they're not sending you any does mean that you don't have to decline them, which keeps your acceptance rating higher. Now, the flip side of this is you want to make sure you're not missing on any opportunities when you are out there doing food delivery. When you're out there and you're actively on an order and you have the other two off, what I typically do is when I get down to about 4 or 5 minutes from my drop and I get down to a mile or less before I've gotten to my destination to drop an order off, I'll actually start turning the other apps back on, because I can accept orders on those apps when I'm about 4 to 5 minutes out and a mile or less from my drop, because I know I can drive and finish that order that I'm on and still get to the pickup for the next one before the timer runs out. So when I'm out here multi-apping and I am turning off apps so that I don't receive orders from them, I also turn them back on, so before I get that order dropped off that I have more opportunities coming my way. A lot of times what you'll find too, I was working GrubHub yesterday and I was using this technique, and before I got to the drop off for a GrubHub order, they were actually already sending me other offers before I was done, so I was able to continue working on that platform. Again, when I was doing this, I kept Uber Eats off and I kept checking my time on DoorDash to make sure that I wasn't getting to that 35-minute mark and going to lose my dash. But this is a really good way that multi-appers can use to keep their acceptance rating higher. So although you cannot be penalized for declining orders from these apps that they send you, you can run into issues with getting sent the better orders if your acceptance rate is low. So it's really important that you try to keep your acceptance rating high even when you're a multi-apper, because this is going to help you get more and better orders from these platforms. So if you want to do multi-apping and you want to keep your acceptance rating high, simply go on there and click off or unavailable or pause the orders on DoorDash so you don't lose your seat with them, and you can keep that acceptance rating as high as possible when you're out there. I want to remind you that down here in my description I have some great tools for you. The one I want to talk to you about today is my metric spreadsheet. One way as a multi-apper that you can do really well when you're out here is to know what your averages are. My metric spreadsheet is a free download. It will show you what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, and average dollar per order. I'm going to throw it up here on the screen real quick so you guys can check it out. If you look at the left-hand side, you'll see I always put my start time and my end time. This gives me the total time that I've worked. I also put in the miles. If you look to the right for each individual app, I put the dollars that I've made, the time that I worked, along with the number of deliveries. Head to the bottom then and you'll see it calculates out what your average dollar per hour, dollar per mile, and your average per order. To know exactly where you are as far as your averages, it starts by keeping track of your numbers. This will help you see where you are, and it'll help you improve those numbers because you know exactly what you're doing when you're out there. So head down into my description and go grab that metric spreadsheet for yourself. I'd also like to ask you to like this video and to subscribe to my channel. And finally, I want to say I hope that you are out there getting the money that you and your family deserve. And with that, I want to say thanks.